Howdy. It's Lonnie Ray Williams, Chairman of the Independent American Party. Been a little while since my last video. I have been busy on the farm and busy taking care of the party and getting everything situated, bringing on new states, and helping the party grow. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Independent American Party as far as what it is and what it isn't. And I figured I'd take a little bit to clear that up. I apologize in advance if my animals get a little bit rambunctious. The roosters and chickens are certainly carrying on along with the pigs and goats in the background here and there. But hopefully they'll give me a moment of peace here to have this video. You know, our organization is, we don't like to look at ourselves as a party. And we're more of a family of patriots, people who love their country and don't shy away from their faith. Now, that doesn't mean we're a religious party. We absolutely are not. We're just like our founding fathers in that we don't deny faith. Now, what that is up to the individual. It's not up for me to tell you to believe or not to believe. But it is a foundational principle of our nation, faith. Faith in something. Faith in something greater than ourselves. Faith that this wasn't just happenstance, and out of the billions and billions and billions of chances of life being created in a universe of billions and billions of stars, and that just results in your life, it's statistically impossible. There's a guiding force. Whether we understand what it is and what it isn't for me to tell you, but it is, just like our founding fathers asserted, something greater than ourselves. That's where these rights come from, these inalienable rights. They come from someplace greater than ourselves. So for those naysayers and those angry people who want to cry about, oh, you guys want to be a Christian party, no, absolutely not. Most of us believe in Christ. Some of us believe in something else. Some of us are like our founding fathers in that we're more deists. We understand there's a greater force out there. We understand that revelation is part of this. We understand that faith's part of it. And in some manner, perhaps man isn't smart enough to comprehend the greatness of the great I am. You know, there's a lot of different ways that people can approach it, and that's entirely up to them. But the point is, and what makes us different, is that we embrace that as an organization. We embrace that as the human quest, just like our founding fathers did. So that doesn't make us a religious party. That makes us a founding fathers party. And that's what makes us different from the other parties, whereas they shy away from this great religious question or faith question because they're worried about their party numbers or this and that. Well, that to me just screams of a party or an organization that doesn't stand on any principles at all. That's what separates us from the other parties. So what we are is an association of people, good, common, everyday, average Americans who have come together on a quest, not just to elect somebody, but to save this republic. We understand that this country is falling and will continue to fall because it is led by terrible, evil people. Yeah, we believe in good and evil. That's what separates this party from others. We understand that there are battles that are larger than ourselves, that there are wars that are greater than ourselves, factions of goodness and evil that we can't pretend to understand completely are vying against each other. In our homes, in our government, in our schools, even in our churches. It's not up to us to tell you what church to belong to or whether to belong to a church. More people have been killed in the name of institutionalized religion than not. And those are the facts we grapple with. So for those who are crying out as far as trying to say what this party is or isn't, I'm going to tell you you're focusing on the wrong things. Our country is economically falling apart. Our country is morally falling apart. Our country is structurally falling apart. We have no representation We have massive amounts of taxes. We have bureaucracy where nothing can get done. And we have children who are being preyed upon by others, and that's allowed to exist and even celebrated in some areas. So we have fundamental problems in this nation. And that's a result of running away from faith, running away from the founding principles that held this country together. Now, if you know anything about our founding fathers, you will understand that they said continuously and frequently that this nation, this Constitution, this republic, this form of government could not exist if it weren't for the faith and morality of the people. That means that any political organization or any group at all that runs away from faith is anti-American. It's a pretty hard thing to swallow. But if you look at our history, you'll understand that faith is part of that history. Now, if this sits wrong with you and this party's clearly not for you, I'm not here to tell you what you have to believe or not. And if this irks you and ires you, well, clearly the Democratic or the Republican Party would love to have you. They need people like you who are willing to look at things that aren't there instead of focusing on the important things. Now, what are the important things? Well, they're taking away your children. They're taking away your rights to be children. I live in Washington State. That's been a big battle this year, and that's exactly what they've done. They've created this state, turned it into a sanctuary state to where your children can run here, and they don't have to tell you legally. Now, that's not hyperbole. That's just the facts. They'll pay for your children to have castrations and chemical neutering and all sorts of things like that. Doesn't matter what their age is. That's the facts. These are the battles that we're fighting now. Well, you're worried about whether this party's a religious party or not, or whether we want to turn it into a Christian nation. I don't think that any nation can be a Christian nation until Christ comes back. That's the reality of it. That's my personal opinion. Now, I'm a believer of Christ. I'm a follower of Christ. He changed my life. He patched me up, put me back together when I had my head up my rear. We all have moments in life, I'd like to think, that we're not perfect, and we all need to grow up. And for me, it took a little bit of guidance from people I trusted. And those people had this light inside. They had this glow. And I didn't know what it was, but I knew that they were good people, and I knew I wanted to be like them. And I knew that there was some truth there. Now, that's my own personal truth. And you're not entitled to it in your life. You have your own truth. And I'm not entitled to tell you what that is. But I can help you if you want, but that's not what my party's about. My party's about standing on the principles to save your liberty so that you can have those conversations that we just had. You see, there's a lot of people who don't want us to have those conversations, who think that it's wrong, and it bothers them because of their own guilt that's buried deep inside. And they want to lash out with anger because they know morally something's going on inside them that doesn't jive, but they can't figure it out, so they're going to attack the good people in the world. Well, that's been going on since the beginning of time. Since Cain killed Abel. There's always been somebody who thinks that somebody else is hiding something from them or taking glory that belongs to them, and their jealousy gets the better of them. Their pride, whatever it is. You don't have to go to the Bible for that. You can go to any number of the histories of humanity and see what greed and selfishness does to people. Our party stands up for inalienable rights. What the heck is that? It's a big word. Natural rights is what it is. Well, what are natural rights? Well, you know, if you were born on an island and you grew up, you'd have the right to do whatever the heck you wanted within the confine of that island. That's what a natural right is. If you met somebody, you'd have the right to fall in love with that person. That person would have the right to fall in love with you. You'd have a right to get married, have children, start your own legacy. your own family. Raise them in your own ways, traditions, and with the experience that you've learned in your life to try and be better people. That's natural rights. Whatever you would naturally have the right to do without any other organization or group or anything coming into your life and dictating that, well, that's a natural right. We have these rights to be this way, to live in freedom, liberty, however we want. We don't have the right to push that off on anybody else and get in their business and tell them how to live. But we absolutely have the right to follow our own destiny, to follow our own voice inside that tells us to do right. Some of us have an obligation, not just a right. And I encourage you all to find whatever it is you're called to do to better humanity. That's what my party is all about. Common, average, everyday people just trying to make it through this life. Not trying to live up to anybody else's labels or ideologies. That's up to you guys to live your life. It's up to me to live mine. And I'm here to create a party, rebuild this party into your party. Party of the people. Where common, average, everyday people come together in civility, respect, can talk about the issues that's important to them, and can stand up together to support their rights. That sounds pretty simple. But today it's pretty difficult because there's always going to be somebody out there that wants to say negative things. Well, I fight for that right, for people like that to say negative things. I fight for the right of people in my past to come up and say how much I sucked 10, 20, 30 years ago in my life. Yeah, I sucked. The point of life is to grow up, to get better, to come to new conclusions, to learn from terrible experiences and making bad decisions and become a better person. That's what my party's all about. That's what freedom is all about. That's what liberty's all about. It's not about treading water. It's not about people taking care of you for the rest of your life while you go out and watch Netflix and binge episodes because that accomplishes something. It's about getting involved. And whenever I stand up an area and get them involved, it's always amazing to see the rage that comes from so many people because they just don't understand what it is that they're seeing. That rage actually is coming from within them. It's nothing we've done. We're just being like any other American who wants to live their life in their own ways and traditions. Their guilt is what drives that rage. Those aren't the people I'm interested in having in this party. There's enough rage in the world, the other parties, they can have them. This party's about kindness, love, compassion, working together, trying to be a better people, trying to hold our communities together even though the rest of the world's going to crap. That's what my party's about. So I encourage you to look within and decide for yourselves. Have I been doing it wrong? It's not about voting for someone and getting them in office, folks. It's about belonging to an organization of people who are friendly to one another, who love one another, who are working together to try and change this country. Yeah, we may belligerently insist on our rights, as should everybody. And yeah, we may make a little bit of noise, as should everybody. And yes, we stand on our faith rather loudly, as should everybody. That's what made this country great. So if you don't like those principles, I hear China's looking for a few more people to feed. All right. That's probably enough for now. I've got a lot of farm work to do, and I've got to feed my family, which I encourage you all to do. Raise some animals, plant a garden, do the things you need to do. Even in the city, you can get potatoes in a bucket, put them on the porch somewhere and grow. I've got turkeys and birds and rabbits that you can grow in really confined spaces. Provide some food for yourselves, people. It's going to get real here real quick. God bless y'all. God bless all those who stand for liberty and freedom. If you're looking for a home that's not really a party, it's more of a family, and since we're reorganized, maybe we'll make that clear. But in either event, right now, we're your choice for liberty and freedom. Right now, we're the people who are not afraid to say it's okay to believe in whatever the heck you want to believe. Right now, we're the party that has the same founding values that our founding fathers had. This country was set up on, or as close as we can approximate them in our inconsistencies as humans. We're trying to restore this republic. That's what makes us different. We don't care about the power and getting people elected and all the things that normal things would. Yeah, sure, we're aiming for that. But we're here to change this country. We're here to bring it back. And we want you with us. Anyway, I'll keep going on if I don't cut myself off. So God bless you guys. And thanks for your support. It's been pretty fantastic. And thanks for the naysayers. That lets me know we're doing the right thing. God bless you. God bless everyone who stands up for doing the right thing. Talk to you later. Bye.